Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning into the latest edition of FranCoach's Franchising 101 podcast. I am Tim Parmeter, founder and CEO of FranCoach and your podcast host. Today, it is just little old me talking to you. We are going to discuss really the last, one of the parts of the process, but it is the last part of this entire discovery process. We take our clients through. The term sometimes is interchangeable. You'll hear the term meet the team day, discovery day, pretty evenly mixed up depending on franchises. They really mean the same thing. We've talked about what occurs at one of these in the past. We're going to talk about some of the things leading up to it to really help you prepare to make the most out of a meet the team day. That's what we're going to discuss. First up, as always, a quick reminder of who we are. FranCoach is a national search firm dedicated to helping people like yourself learn more about franchise ownership. We are partnered with well over 600 of the top franchisors in the country, spanning nearly 70 industries. We have two real goals to help you with. Number one is to properly educate you on franchise ownership to determine if it's the right path for you. And then secondarily is if it is, let's help you find your absolute best fit and best franchise own. That's what we're going to do. Now let's talk about from a process standpoint, meet the team day, discovery day. So if we back up a little bit, when we first start talking to folks, it takes us a couple, really almost 3 steps before we have learned enough about you to be able to connect you with a very targeted group of franchises, usually 3 or 4, right? If to be honest, if somebody is throwing more than that at you, they really probably don't know what they're doing. They are just throwing the ones they want to show you, not really asking you the questions to learn anything, right? So it should be that almost kind of scientific. And then once you are connected to franchises, that discovery process is going to take 6 to 8 weeks. There will be anywhere from 10 to 15 different steps along the way. Okay. When you work with our team, we're actually here throughout that, dang near weekly, to help you understand and really absorb all the information, because it is information overload on top of information overload. And we want to help make sure nothing gets missed. Oh, small point, the franchises are vetting you during that point as well. Franchises are awarded. You don't get to just pick which one you want. They have to want you also. So we're here throughout all of it. The culmination of this journey is meet the team day or discovery day. Again, terms are interchangeable. I'm going to keep saying meet the team day. So it is kind of what you might think. It's cleverly called meet the team day because you are going to meet their entire team, the entire team of that franchise. Sometimes these are still virtual. You're still going to meet the team. But probably I would say maybe 2/3 of the franchises really do have those in person. So you are going to go to wherever that franchise headquarters is. Usually going to have kind of a nice little casual dinner the night before, and you're going to spend a big chunk of the following day in their office meeting their team. So during this process, you've had kind of your point person with the franchise take you through. And sometimes people are going to say, oh, they are selling me. They're trying to sell me the franchise. Not entirely. It is 100% their job to sell the virtues of that franchise, be able to ask questions or answer any questions that you have about the brand along the way. But they are vetting you also, right? So again, yes, they should be talking about all the positives. They should also talk to you about some of the challenges and why you might not be a good fit, because again, franchises make money off the royalties, not just selling you a franchise fee or getting the franchise fee from you, okay? So you're going to have had that person, but you will eventually talk to, again, being able to talk to their leadership team. It's one thing for, Sally, the franchise development person, to talk to you about the marketing support that they're going to have. That's awesome. But on Meet the Team Day, you're going to get to hear directly from the head of the marketing department, probably a couple people on their team, depending on the size of the franchise. Or here's operations, here's training, here's tech, all the different kind of silos of people and departments that are going to help train you, number one, and then support you once you're open. So it is designed to be the last step in this journey. And it is designed to be kind of, I always tell people you're going to leave there and either go, you're going to be head to the airport and you're going to go running, screaming to the terminal to like, get me away from these crazy people. Or you, in your mind, you're there, that this is the one for you. Again, we got to wait on the franchise to actually say you're their person as well to award you, but you're going to leave Meet the Team Day. Yeah, this is it, right? So it really and truly is that clear because the journey is so thorough up until then.
Hey everyone, I wanted to take a quick break from our podcast to tell you about our amazing friends at Entrepreneur. If you're looking to become a franchisee or simply learn more about business ownership, and guys, let's be honest, you're listening to the Franchising 101 podcast, so we know you have some interest in this. And I really encourage you to go to entrepreneur.com to check out all of their great content and resources. Seriously, Entrepreneur has everything, all the way from a bookstore to the best podcasts, webinars, and videos, plus information on upcoming events and the latest articles that seriously, they cover all aspects of franchising and business ownership. If you're having trouble deciding which franchise is right for you, start with Entrepreneur's renowned Franchise 500 ranking, which highlights the best franchises of 2022. For 45 years and counting now, Entrepreneur has been and continues to be the most widely recognized and respected authority in the franchise market. Digital and print subscriptions are available, so you never miss out on anything. So seriously, what are you waiting for? Go to entrepreneur.com right now and learn more.
So what are some things as we are preparing ourselves for Meet the Team Day that we want to think about? Also understand, especially when it's in person, sometimes you may be kind of in the middle of the journey and you may still be vetting 2 or 3 franchises, and you're going to have, here's Sally from Franchise X and says, hey, we really want to let you know there's a Meet the Team Day in 3 weeks. We'd love to invite you. And you're like, whoa, right? Kind of like, we've been on a few dates. I kind of like you. And now you want to go away for the weekend. You want me to meet your parents? Are you freaking kidding me? I'm not sure yet. Right. It may feel a little soon. So take a breath and flip this around. They wouldn't be inviting you if they didn't think at this point you might be a good candidate. And if it's in person, hey, there's some logistics there. We got to buy plane tickets. We got to, for working, we got to get off take some time off our job. Do we have those pesky children or pets or whatever we need to attend to? Because ideally, if you're married or whatever, your spouse, your partner, somebody's going to come with you to the in-person Meet the Team Day. So don't freak out when it feels like, holy crap, you're asking me to meet your parents. Pump the brakes just a little bit. It's planning, and again, it's a good sign that they're interested. Virtual ones sometimes can also feel a little too soon. Virtual ones sometimes can be too soon because it's easier to just say, hey, we've got one next week when you're halfway through the process. Doesn't mean you can't do it then, but it flips this process upside down. And again, I think loses some of the value of it really being the last step. So can it occur a little earlier when it's virtual and be okay? Yes, but it is very definitely suboptimal. Okay. So now we know we are going, we've got one maybe 2 or 3 weeks out. What do we need to be thinking about? And again, we need to be thinking about that as the last step, right? So let yourself kind of like hyperventilate a little bit, like, oh crap, this just got real. But what are some things we need to think about? So first off is funding. If you've not met with a funding partner at that point, and funding partner is not your local banker Bob down the street at, your town saving a loan, okay? There are franchise funding companies out there. There's a half dozen or so of them. If you're working with our team, we're going to get you connected to the right people. Doesn't mean you need to have the money in hand for the entire investment, but you need to have had the conversation before you go to Meet the Team Day. You need to have decided which funding strategy is it going to be for you. Are we doing an SBA loan? Are we doing a ROBS? Is it HELOC? You can just self-fund things, but we want to make sure we know exactly what funding option. It's okay to start the process. Sometimes people in particular will start the ROBS because there's a halfway point in that 4 or 5 week journey. That's pretty easy to kind of get to there and then pause a little bit. But at least we know we've got, if it's an SBA, we've got pre-approval, same for a HELOC. If it's cash, whatever, we know where that money is coming from for sure. Okay, that's first. Then validation calls. We've spoken about validation calls a handful of times on this show. Doesn't mean you have to have completed them, but in that next 2 to 3 weeks from I've registered, I'm scheduled to go to that Meet the Team Day, and that Meet the Team Day, you need to knock out those 3 or 4 validation calls at a minimum. Okay. That's going probably the Meet the Team Day is great. Those validation calls, I don't want to say are better, but it's 1A, 1B as far as really confirming that you're on the right track. So we've got to do that. What else do we need to think about? So what about a territory or a location for our franchise? Have we discussed that? If not, that needs to get covered in the next couple of weeks. If it's a retail location, really doesn't matter, retail or non-retail, you're still going to have kind of your territory and your bubble, so to speak, that is yours. Are we targeting one? If so, what does that look like on the map? Have we talked to our franchise development person with this? Do we understand what it looks like? Do we just want one, or do we want to look at surrounding? Do we want to look at multiples with this as well? Okay. So we need to make sure we have done that before we get to Meet the Team Day. Then there's the legal stuff. The FDD, you will have definitely gotten that before you go to Meet the Team Day. You should have had a chance to review any questions on the FDD with your FranDev person prior to Meet the Team Day. And also, if you're working with us, those are things we can help you with as well. So then there's the franchise agreement. So this is this gap between invite to Meet the Team Day and going to Meet the Team Day. If you are going to get a legal review from a franchise attorney, cannot express that enough. Franchise attorney, again, not your friend's cousin's nephew who has a general practice firm. Like, no. Franchise attorney. We just had the amazing Amanda Dempsey from Saxon Stump on earlier last month, I think, to talk us through some key things in that franchise agreement. I would tell you maybe about 20% of the folks actually will drop the money with an attorney to get a franchise agreement reviewed. Again, there's several of them out there, but you want to make sure you get to a franchise attorney in that time to let them take a look at things. Rarely, if ever, are things negotiated or changed in a franchise agreement, but you want to make sure you have an understanding of what you are signing, what is the franchise responsibilities, what are yours, understand what that exit looks like, however long down the road that might be. Most of the time, you can kind of read through that, have some discussions, and you're good. But if you want that franchise attorney, get that now before the Meet the Team Day. Okay. So ideally, if there's any comments back from the franchise attorney, you've had an opportunity to discuss those with the franchise or before you go to Meet the Team Day. Again, the goal is that Meet the Team Day is really the last piece in this process. So now we've kind of done those things. Now, what's our goal at Meet the Team Day? So, number one, don't make a fool of yourself. And again, we've talked about this before at Meet the Team Days. The dinner prior, where there's this little thing called alcohol. Nobody in the history of the world has done anything stupid after consuming alcohol. So be smart with that, have fun. But again, this is a business meeting. So what are some things? There's usually some gaps, or maybe we'd like a little deeper information at Meet the Team Day, right? Maybe they've talked about, the great marketing support from the franchisor and the marketing plan that's going to be in place to drive traffic to your business. But you don't know jack about marketing, right? You can barely spell SEO, let alone know what the heck it means, right? So barely are on social media. So how are we using Facebook ads to get business, or Instagram ads, or whatever? Now, getting a chance to hear from the marketing team, have them go a little bit deeper into this, to hear from their team, to go, I still don't really understand it, but holy crap, it seems like they do. I feel very comfortable with how they've laid this out for us. We want to make sure we get a chance to do that. Sometimes people will have 2 or 3 questions that they're really kind of the burning questions they really want to ask while there. More times than not, any questions that come up at Meet the Team Day are things that come up from the conversation. So what you're not going to get is trained, right? So they're not giving you the recipe to the secret sauce at Meet the Team Day. You're going to hear from the people that are going to give you the secret sauce and talk about, some of the high level kind of bullet points of how they're going to do that. But Meet the Team Day is not training. So sometimes people have some expectations of, man, I was really hoping to learn how to do it. Yeah, that's next, right? That's once you become a franchise owner. So you're not going to get that. And then I think just the biggest thing I always want people to kind of think about at Meet the Team Day is the people. So this is kind of your extended family as a franchise owner. These are the people that are going to train you, going to onboard you, they're going to train you, they're going to support you as a franchise owner. You don't need to be besties with everybody, but you want to kind of gut check. You want to make sure that these are people you trust, you feel confident about. Even just look around the room at some of the other candidates. Do you feel like you were in the right room? So yes, there's going to be some information there's going to be a ton of information that's going to get shared. Yes, you're going to have some questions you want to get answered going into the day, and there will be more that will pop up along the way. So have a plan, right, of some things you want to learn. It's always good to have a couple questions, even if you don't ask them, kind of ready to go. If somebody says, hey, Tim, right, what questions do you have? Probably the worst thing at that point you can do is, nah, I'm good. Like, kind of at least fake some interest, have a couple things down, right? And then the other thing, kind of the last piece of this is, before we go to Meet the Team Day, we want to understand the expectations after Meet the Team Day. Okay. So sometimes there's a kind of a perception that this is like a timeshare, right? Like, they're not letting you, like, you're in an escape room and you can't get out until you sign and pay the franchise fee. Like, I don't want to say that's never happened, but at this point in the summer of 2024, I've been doing this over 10 years. I can think of I can count on one hand how many of our clients have actually signed on to Meet the Team Day, but they knew that going in, right? It was that clear. They wanted to knock it out and kind of make an event out of it, right? And I'd still have fingers left over too, by the way. So it's really rare that that's going to happen. But we want to understand the expectations, right? If the franchise is going to meet together as a leadership team the next day, go through the 4 or 5 candidates that were there, decide, are they awarding them? Are there any contingencies, or what, or are they not going to? If they're going to meet the following day and that's not relayed to you, you're going to leave there and go, man, I love this, but they didn't award me. Like, you can almost feel dejected or rejected a little bit. Versus if we know that expectation is, hey, we're going to meet tomorrow. We're going to reach out to you the following day, and we're going to talk through, if we're going to award you and if you want to move forward, like, what those next steps are, right? And that should, as best as possible, and to be honest, really good franchises are going to lay that out for you, right? They're going to say, before you go, right, hey, we're going to let you know at the end of the day. We're going to let you know 2 days afterwards. We're going to look for if this is mutually agreed upon, we're going to look for a signing and paying the franchise fee, within 48 hours. Whatever that timeline, it doesn't matter what the timeline is. It matters that we know what that is. So when we leave there, we know what to do. Like, okay, great. If they call us tomorrow and say, yes, we're awarded, we're going, yes. And guess what? We've done everything. We have our funding in place. We're ready to trigger X funding option. We've talked to everybody. We understand our territory. So that's already going to be included in the franchise agreement. It's really one of the very few things that's changed in your actual franchise agreement versus what you're going to see in the FDD. So we've gone through all of that. We've reviewed everything we need to know. We are ready to go. The excitement you're going to have when you leave there, when it's the right thing, you're going to want to be able to jump on that momentum and get into training, and not actual, probably more onboarding rather than training, but you're going to want that to happen because, like, you're excited. Let's go. Right. So those are things that you need to kind of think through before you ever attend to Meet the Team Day. Our team is going to help you with that. In fact, we have a whole checklist on we've got a client portal for all of our clients that are going to have all these different resources, and this is one of them. So those are things that we and our team are here to help you with, but things that you need to think about. And yes, as you think about these things before Meet the Team Day, it can cause a little that's okay. If somebody doesn't have a little hyperventilation moment those last 2 weeks before Meet the Team Day, then I'm a little worried. Maybe we're not taking this all that seriously. And well, that's not good either. So don't worry when that happens. But if we have all these kind of boxes checked before we get to Meet the Team Day, you're going to be able to leave there again with that confidence of you won't make a decision. It's going to be absolutely crystal clear that this is the best fit for you. You're going to understand the timeline for when they're going to say, yep, you're our fit also. And here is how we roll from there. Sign, fund, jump into the training and onboarding. Okay. And the one last thing I want to talk about process-wise after Meet the Team Day that sometimes people don't think about. It is not sign the franchise agreement today, open your doors tomorrow. There is, even with a non-retail, non-licensure franchise, it can take anywhere from 60 to 90 days from signing the franchise agreement until you're open. That's how much needs to get done on the onboarding and then the actual training before you're open. It is like, and even if it's virtual, think of a retail establishment where you see, here comes a new sandwich shop. There's a big sign that says coming soon, right? So you're virtually putting your coming soon sign out there for the next 60 to 90 days to plan, train, get everything set up, start some marketing to create awareness. So by the time your first day is here as being open as a business owner, guess what? You might have some customers. Good idea, right? If it's retail, just know you're going to have, a minimum of 6 months, and it can roll up to 12 months or more, depending on the size of that location. So it's not sign and open, it's sign and that you are jumping in. You're going to be very, very busy right away. You also have, if it's a non-retail franchise, sometimes most people want to get started and get open as fast as possible. But other times people may have something else going on that they need a little bit longer timeline. You can extend that out to 6 months, sometimes even up to 12 months. Though, if I'm being honest, there would have to be some real extenuating circumstances for it to go that long. But sign today, open in 6 months is not unreasonable for a non-retail franchise. Again, maybe you're trying to exit some jobs, you've got other things going on, and that's the timeline that you're looking for. That's perfect. So again, that's part of understanding that franchise agreement and the franchise disclosure document. What are those timelines? But just don't ever think that it's sign and open right away. It is not. Minimum of 60 to 90 days. If it's non-retail, retail probably a minimum of at least 6 months. So those are things that you need to think about once you have committed to that Meet the Team Day, especially the ones in person. All the boxes you need to check so you can go there knowing everything is done. All you have to do is focus on that day to see if it is in fact the right thing for you. And again, small point, make sure you're the right fit for that franchisor. So that's Meet the Team Day prep. When you are ready to jump into this, learn a little bit more, maybe see if this is even if you're in the position to get to a Meet the Team Day or get into the discovery process, we encourage you to reach out to our team. There's never ever any fee for our service. You can find us at francoach.net, franchising101podcast.net. Everything is going to be, again, Team FranCoach, even though our podcast says Franchising 101. We are here for you. Reach out to us today. Let us help you create your better tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll talk with you next week.